it is my honor to be joined right now by David Neff, who is the co-organizer of the Austin Social Media Club.
Thanks for having me, Shane.
It's great to have you here. Why don't you tell me and tell the folks at home, what is the Austin Social Media Club and what's its purpose?
So the Austin Social Media Club is a monthly meeting of all types of folks from beginners to advanced who are interested in social media, digital media, marketing, and word-of-mouth marketing. And it's just a great group. We meet once a month, and we're kind of open to all people who want to come and all different levels of folks.
That's great. So talk to me about what you do and in your daily life and how social media plays a part in that.
So besides working and helping out with the Austin Social Media Club, I work for Ridgewood Ingenious Communication Strategies, and we're a full-service PR and marketing firm here in town. And before that, for 9 years, I was with the American Cancer Society, and while I was there, I kind of helped get their social media program up and running. And for an organization, and especially nonprofits out there, we think that's a tremendous opportunity to not just listen to the public, but actually have conversations with them in a way that was never really possible before.
Well, so I've heard you say before that social media is really just another type of interpersonal communication. What do you mean by that?
Well, the great thing is, much like PBS has always been about reflecting the community and what's going on in the community, social media does that as well. All the folks that are here volunteering have met through the Austin Social Media Club, and maybe they formed online relationship at first, and then they came to an event of ours, met each other, formed friendships, and now they're all here volunteering today. So it's definitely taking online communications and moving it beyond that. And especially for nonprofits, we see it as a great way to actually go out and do a whole host of things they weren't able to do. They can't place a large media buy, they can't get a billboard, but they can have a Facebook fan page, they can be on Twitter, they can spread their message through there, and more importantly, just like Austin Social Media Club tonight, they can recruit volunteers, and KLRU is doing a great job around social media fundraising. So there's literally hundreds of opportunities that these nonprofits didn't have, but they can have through social media.
That's great. So if I were wanting to get involved, or someone at home wants to get involved in the Austin Social Media Club, how would they do that?
Well, we'd love to have them. And we have meetings once a month. Our next meeting is on the 15th. It's actually sold out, but for anyone watching today, they can come to the meeting, tell us they heard about it here, and we'll let them in and get them a seat. The topic is geolocation, so we're going to talk to some folks from Gowalla, some folks about Foursquare and things like that. They can also find us on Facebook, and they can also find us on Twitter as well, just by searching Austin Social Media Club.
Great. David, it's been a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Shane. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
And I'm joined here in the studio. I've got a couple of questions of my own, and I'm joined here by Mike Chapman, who is the co-founder, co-organizer of the Austin Social Media Club. Mike, it's nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
And while we were watching the program earlier tonight, you had a story about the book that we're offering this evening as a pledge premium. What?
Right. Well, one of the things is Austin Social Media Club is part of an international group of social media clubs from around the world. Some of the earliest chapters were in Boston, Austin, San Francisco, and Chris Brogan, your featured author tonight, is one of the founders and somebody that a lot of us have met and gotten to know personally, first online and then in real life. And so I did a shout out by Twitter earlier, making sure he knew that he was part of us here again tonight.
That's great. That's great. So if somebody at home is new to social media and they're wanting to dip their toe in it for the first time, how do you recommend that people get started and get involved in social media? Well,
social media is a series of conversations. So like any conversation, you may want to listen a little bit before you start talking. And so Google or use one of the other search engines, bloggers who are writing about social media, including Chris Brogan and many of the people behind me here, will share their experiences with learning Twitter, Facebook, and the other social networks. And one of the beautiful things about online communities is everybody's really willing to share information and knowledge and experience.
That's great. So there are a lot of I've heard a lot of people. I'm kind of active in social media myself, but I've heard a lot of people say that they think social media is a fad. That this is something that is new to the scene. It's had its day, and eventually it'll go away. What is your opinion of whether social media is a fad?
Well, for the past several years, I've heard the same thing, and I guess electronic mail, email, was a fad at one time, and that's really one of the earliest forms of social media. if you want to look at the way you can have a response and a response to the response. And so it's only going to get more sophisticated, more open for people to be able to use as mobile devices make it possible for us to stay connected throughout the day and to find information wherever we are, at work, at play. And I think the only thing that might disappear is the terminology to some degree, but it's going to be a part of our everyday lives going forward.
I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want to thank you all for watching this great episode, and we'd love for you to call your support at 866-910-KLRU.